The Los Angeles Lakers have a math problem that no coach can solve. LeBron James and Luka Dončić now take up 64% of the team's entire budget. It is the most expensive duo in NBA history. But as of April 2026, it is proving that you can't buy a championship with a broken cap. We have entered the era of the two-player economy, and for the purple and gold, the bubble hasn't just burst, it has evaporated. To understand why a roster featuring two of the greatest playmakers to ever touch a basketball is currently hovering around .500, you have to look past the box score and into the CBA's second apron. This isn't just a luxury tax, it is a financial cage. In the old NBA, if your stars were expensive, you just paid a fine and kept signing veterans. In 2026, the league has effectively stripped the Lakers of their tools. Because they are over that second apron threshold, they can't use mid-level exceptions, they can't take back more money in trades, and they can't even sign buyout players. They aren't just broke, they are paralysed. This is the hidden cost of the $98 million duo. When you pay two men nearly two-thirds of your resources, you aren't just betting on their talent, you are betting on their immortality. You are betting that they will play 82 games at an MVP level, because your plan B is a rotation of minimum contract players and rookies who aren't ready for the bright lights. The margin for error isn't thin, it's non-existent. When the front office executed the trade to bring Luka to Los Angeles, the headlines screamed about a new dynasty. On paper, it was the perfect basketball marriage, the greatest floor general of the last 2 decades, passing the torch to the greatest floor general of the next decade. But the league's new financial structure was designed specifically to prevent this kind of consolidation. By crossing the second apron, the Lakers surrendered their ability to improve. They cannot aggregate salaries in a trade, meaning they can't package 2 small contracts to get 1 decent player. They are stuck with what they have, and what they have is a collection of minimum-scale athletes trying to survive in a league that has never been deeper or more athletic. The psychological toll on a roster like this is immense. When you are a veteran playing for the league minimum, you are often a specialist, a shooter who can't defend, or a defender who can't shoot. In a balanced economy, these flaws are hidden by well-paid role players. In the Lakers' two-player economy, these flaws are exposed under a 10,000-watt spotlight. Opposing coaches don't have to beat LeBron or Luka, they just have to survive them and then feast on the bench units that have no offensive gravity. And right now, that bet is failing the ultimate stress test. With Luka Dončić sidelined by a recurring hamstring injury, the Lakers aren't just missing a superstar, they are missing a $50 million chunk of their identity. In the salary cap era, an injured star is a dead money crater. That $50 million can't be redistributed to find a temporary replacement. It sits on the bench in a warm-up suit while LeBron James, at age 41, is forced to carry a load that was supposed to be shared. The wear and tear on LeBron's body is no longer a concern for the future. It is a crisis for the present. Every extra minute he plays to compensate for Luka's absence increases the risk of the entire structure collapsing. Asset management in the NBA has become a high-stakes game of risk mitigation. The Lakers chose to consolidate all their chips into 2 massive assets, leaving no room for a supporting cast. When one of those assets glitches, the entire system crashes. It turns the roster into a house of cards where every role player is being asked to play 2 levels above their actual pay grade. You have players who should be 10th men on a playoff rotation suddenly starting and being asked to guard all-stars. The defensive rotations are slow, the spacing is cramped, and the exhaustion is visible. We have to talk about the opportunity cost of this $98 million. For that same price, championship contenders like Oklahoma City or Boston are rostering 4 or 5 high-level starters. They have depth that allows them to survive an injury to a primary scorer. The Lakers, by contrast, are living paycheck to paycheck in basketball terms. There is no emergency fund. There is no draft capital left to burn, because the Stepien rule and previous trades have locked their future picks in a deep freeze. They are essentially a zombie team, too expensive to change and too top-heavy to win. This isn't just about bad luck with injuries. It's about the fundamental misunderstanding of the new economy of the NBA. In the past, the Lakers brand and their willingness to spend could mask any executive mistake. But the 2024 CBA, the one that created these aprons, was built to ensure that no amount of money could overcome bad math. The Lakers are currently paying more for a play-in spot than most teams pay for a title contender. They are locked into a cycle where they cannot sign veterans because they have no cap exceptions left. And they can't even offer a taxpayer mid-level because they've blown past the second apron. We are watching a live experiment in financial over-leveraging. The Lakers' new economy was built on the idea that top-heavy talent outweighs depth, but the second apron was designed specifically to kill that philosophy. It forces teams to value the middle class of the NBA, those $12 million to $18 million role players who provide the glue. By deleting that middle class to afford Luka and LeBron, the Lakers have become a team of extremes. They are either spectacular or catastrophic, with nothing in between to steady the ship. Look at the nightly box scores. When LeBron sits for even 4 minutes, the Lakers' offensive rating plummets to league-worst levels. Without Luka to handle the secondary playmaking, the ball stops moving. The minimum contract shooters aren't getting the high-quality looks they need to be effective, and the defense, already thin, collapses because everyone is gassed. This is the financial risk of the Supermax duo. You aren't just paying for points, you are paying for the hope that the rest of the league won't notice your bench is empty. As we head toward the postseason, the lesson is becoming painfully clear. In a league designed for parity, spending the most doesn't make you the best. It just makes your failures more expensive. If Luka doesn't return at 100% within the week, the Lakers face the very real possibility of a first-round exit, or worse, missing the playoffs entirely while carrying the highest payroll in the history of the league. This financial paralysis isn't just affecting the present, it is mortgaging the Lakers' very ability to exist in the future. Under the new CBA rules, a team that stays above the second apron for 3 out of 5 years sees their first-round draft pick automatically frozen and moved to the literal end of the draft, regardless of their record. By doubling down on this $98 million core, the Lakers aren't just risking a bad season, they are risking a decade of irrelevance. They have effectively traded their scouting department for a luxury tax bill, turning what should be high lottery assets into the 30th pick in the draft. It is a slow-motion car crash of asset depreciation that leaves the cupboard completely bare for the post-LeBron era. The desperation is already visible in the rotation. With Austin Reeves now joining Luka on the injury report, the Lakers have been forced to call up G League prospects like Dalton Knecht and Kobe Bufkin to play high-stakes minutes. In any other year, these players would be developing in the shadows, but in the two-player economy, they are the only reinforcements available. The Lakers can't go out and sign a battle-tested veteran who was bought out by a losing team. The rules literally won't let them. They are forced to rely on rookies making $4 million to do the job of $15 million starters, and the results are exactly what you'd expect. A defense that ranks in the bottom 5 of the league, and an offense that looks exhausted by the third quarter. This brings us to the repeat offender trap, because the Lakers have been in the tax for consecutive years. Every dollar they spend over the limit isn't just a dollar, it's multiplied by punitive tax brackets that turn a league minimum contract into a $10 or $15 million expense. For a franchise that values its brand as much as its wins, the new economy has turned the Lakers into a textbook example of diminishing returns. They are paying more in tax than some teams pay for their entire active rosters, yet they are fighting just to secure a spot in the play-in tournament. It is the most expensive mediocrity in the history of professional sports, proving that star power alone cannot override the gravity of a hard-capped system.